Well, the University of Kentucky Department of Theater and Dance opens their 2023-24 season with 2 shows running back-to-back. Performances for Good by C.P. Taylor runs November 9th through the 11th. And the following weekend, performances for Kate Hamill's adaptation of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott runs November 16th through the 19th. And here to tell us what we can expect is Thomas Matheny and Dr. Christina Ritter. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so first of all, why did you decide to start this new season with these 2 plays in particular?
Yeah, well, so in the past we've usually had 2 shows in a semester, and we have one early in the semester and one late in the semester. But this year we decided to kind of pair 2 up. And I think there's not a lot of kind of obvious overlap between them, but what they both do is bring stories from the past that have a lot of resonance today in the present. With Good, something more political, and Thomas is an actor in that, and we'll speak to that. And then with Little Women, a story about domestic life and what it just means to be a young woman growing into a young adult and all of the fraught things that come with that.
So very interesting. And you know, you're also using the same set for both of these performances too. Why did you decide to do that? And there's such different plays too. So it's interesting that you chose to do that.
Yeah, well, so the footprint is the same. So we're doing them in a very intimate space where we're close to the audience. But in terms of the set dressing and like the details of the set, those are actually different.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So like with Good, we have a very open-ended structure because the play takes course over his entire life.
Okay.
And so we have, basically the idea is the audience will be constantly twisting and turning into these different moments in his life depending on wherever he is on the stage. And so leaving it open-ended gives the actors an opportunity to really help transport the audience into that world.
Yes, and you're aging over time then in this particular play. How does that work?
A little bit. It mostly takes place over a smaller section, and he is in his mid-40s whenever it starts. So I think it's more of an aging, not necessarily maturity, but mentally, of like his thought processes and how that his approaches to life really changes as he goes throughout the play.
Gotcha. And for Little Women, same thing. I mean, it's a totally different play.
Right.
Give us kind of the synopsis of that.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, of course, are familiar with the 19th century classic. And one of the lovely things about working on this show is that that audience often comes in with some familiarity to the story. They either read the novel when they were young and have some connection to it, or maybe have seen one of the famous movie adaptations. And I love that we're in sort of conversation, I guess, for lack of a better word, with the movie versions and, of course, the novel. But this is a newer adaptation by Kate Hamill, who's a wonderful playwright who she writes very sort of lively and theatrical adaptations of classics. So yeah, we're bringing that story sort of into the present. It's still set in 1860. It's still the story of the March Girls that people are familiar with, but I think it has a kind of fresh and lively feel for now. Yeah.
And you said that it's very intimate for the audience. So what can audiences expect when they come to these shows?
I think particularly with Good, the character often will have some asides and some. I play John Halder, and that is the character that is in question with that. And so he gets to really open up, and you get to see him in these situations where you see him put up these fronts and these walls that we often, as human beings, put up towards people, or these approaches that we take depending on the people, and then you get to see his inner thought processes whenever he is talking and opening up to the audience. He'll just turn around and he'll speak, and sometimes it's what we're always thinking in the back of our head as human beings, but we don't actually get to say.
Well, and I love the fact that it's so close and intimate with the audience too, because it really does, it brings it even more to life for the person that's sitting there in the audience watching too. So, and the same with Little Women
Absolutely. And I mean, we're sometimes, you know, this close to an actor. And so you really feel like the stories being told for you, and that you're in the March's living room, their parlor or whatever. And I think, or watching that proposal between Laurie and Joe that is so heartbreaking. And so there's something really lovely about feeling like you're kind of fly on the wall, you're right there, you're a part of this story. I love doing theater this way. It's always my preferred way to direct, is to be that close. You know, a large, big proscenium show is fantastic, where you have spectacle and all of that. It's great for musical, but these shows are very intimate, and they're really dealing with sort of delving into the corners of, you know, the human condition and relationships and all of that. And so there's something beautiful about getting to do it that close to people.
Oh, it really is. Now, what what's coming up next for the department as well? I know even beyond these two performances.
Yeah, we have a dance concert coming up, and we have in the spring we're doing Fairview, which is a wonderful play, and a musical, Footloose, which we just auditioned for.
Yeah,
and so people will be singing those songs, I think, in their heads a lot around the building. Yeah,
I'm sure they will. And you know, that's a fun musical, and it's you know, just the theater department itself is so much fun. You guys do so much hard work and so many wonderful, wonderful performances. Now, what's the details on folks that want to see these two performances coming up, Little Women and Good? How do they get tickets? Where do they find out more information?
Yeah, so singletary.center.com I think is the way to get tickets. Again, they're running consecutive weekends, so Good
is the 9th through the 11th.
Yep. And Little Women the 16th through the 19th.
Yeah.
And just Singletary Center website or Fine Arts, College of Fine Arts, Department of Theater and Dance for more information.
All right. And just curious too, what's your favorite part of each show? What's yours, Thomas?
I would say probably the climax of the show, because I think the entire thing, it was originally built off of a form of Faust, and so you get to see this man's descent, and so this is really that moment where the audience sees that maybe not everything is as they think it is the entire play.
Oh, I like that.
I just really like that.
I like that. And Christina, what about you?
Gosh, I mean, this has just been a joy to work on, and I have a delightful cast, smart and hardworking, and I think it's the relationships that the sisters have built. They feel like a family, and that's been a joy to watch.
Yes, and directing is no easy feat, so congratulations on the show. Can't wait to see these performances, and thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.